blind to my eyes. Girl, do you remember me? Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Tuesday, and it's Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, if you didn't recognise me with my haircut that I have had. So this is the after compared to the before, and as you can see I've gone for a little bit less volume, which is always a good thing I think. But anyway, interestingly, I had a comment on YouTube today that said, somebody said, you're looking good, Phil, but you've had a bit of work done, ? So I haven't had any work done, I've just had a haircut, or maybe because I had very long hair, somebody thought that I looked different and they saw an old video. But anyway, that is the hair covered for tonight. And hello everybody in that live chat room. Let me get you guys up on screen and see who's in the house tonight. We have Brian and Shawnee Key and Jennifer and Teresa, Beverly, Laurie, Kate, Deborah, Michelle, Carla, Jill, Shawnee Key again, Ozzy in Belfast, and Donna, Lisa, Jennifer, Trish. Hello guys. Oh, and Linda Z is about to go through saying hello Phil with a haircut. So hello Linda Z, hello everybody in that live chat room tonight. So let me get the names of my patrons up on screen as well, because they are the reason that this happens in the first place and that any video is completed on this whole channel. So thank you guys so much for all of your support over on patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus, and their names go across the bottom of the live streams as always. And I have seen that there's been some donations as well that have come in really early, so thank you guys so much for that. If you do come through the door, if you could leave a like, that would be great as you do pass through into that live chat room, because we always aim for a particular number of likes on these live streams to see if we can have a pick roulette the next week. And the pick roulette likes goal for tonight is 370, so still way up there. But if we get a bit of a rush on the likes early on, maybe we'll be able to get there by the end of the live stream. We do live stream for about an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes. The last live stream that we did, we extended it for a little bit of time to try and get those extra likes in there, and we did manage to achieve that. So it means that we are going to be having a pick roulette on Saturday, so make sure that you tune into the live stream in order to see that one. But let me just address the donations that did come through before we started, because they then disappear annoyingly on YouTube. And also let me get the live likes up on screen as well. 114 so far, so hit that thumbs up. We'll see where we end up, and if we do manage to get anywhere closer to that target. It looks like on my screen there's a little bit of loading going on. I'm not sure why that is. It now seems to be going a little bit more smoothly, so my connection didn't cut out. That might have been something to do with YouTube. But anyway, we are back live, and let me address those donations that did come in earlier. So thank you to Ginny, who has donated twice, and it was two $10 donations. Thank you for that. And the first one said, "Hi Phil, have an odd question. As someone with asthma, how do rock singers last so long who also have it. I know Eric B from The Animals is one of them, also the singer of American Pie. Thanks. So thank you for that donation, Ginny. And as I don't have asthma, it's difficult for me to but understand on a level of experiencing it myself, what it feels like to sing with asthma. But I think it is a case of just practice, and there are a lot of sportsmen and women who have asthma, and they take a few inhales from their inhaler. My dad has asthma as well, so he has been able to do sport, and as long as he has his medication, it's absolutely fine. So I think it's probably just more a case of making sure that they're medicated and they have that on them and they're not having an asthma attack, because I think functionality of the voice is pretty much okay if you're treated. Obviously, if you're having an attack, then it's going to be a lot more difficult, and you wouldn't be singing under those circumstances anyway. And if you are going out on stage, I'm sure that they have a few puffs on the inhaler to make sure everything's fine. But like I said, I don't suffer with asthma, fortunately, so it's not something that I can report on firsthand. But I think they just make sure that everything is fine and treated, and they go through vocal exercises in exactly the same way as somebody who doesn't suffer does, and just keep that voice in shape. But anyway, thank you for that question. And there's another one. That was the second $10 donation from Ginny that says, Phil, thanks again for answering my question about Chaz bass guitar. Bet other people would like to know about it as well. Thanks for being you. Take care. So thank you for that, Ginny. And those were the two donations in the super chat window that aren't showing up. So thank you for that. And we are pretty much up to date now. I know that there have been some donations on the PayPal as well, through the PayPal window, which we will get up on screen. And also, I'll just put that percentage thing up there so you guys have a nice clear lay of the land as to what happens with YouTube and the percentages that are taken from the donations in the super chat window. And on PayPal, the percentage is around 3 to 5%, just so you guys know how that works. But let me get that PayPal donations window up on screen. By the way, before we jump into that, a huge thank you to all of you guys who are new subscribing to the channel, because we've just passed 171,000 subscribers. I mean, 71,000 subscribers would be crazy. But 171,000 is even crazier. So thank you guys for subscribing, liking the videos, watching the videos, all of that cool stuff, and joining in with these live streams as well. Hitting that thumbs up button really does help these live streams to get out there, so we can get a few more people involved, which will help us to get to our Pick Roulette likes goal on Tuesdays, because it's always a little bit more difficult because people have to work and all that kind of stuff during the week, which nobody wants to do. But then at least we can let our hair down, no pun intended, on Saturday. And this is the other thing to mention about my hair, is I've left it a little bit longer, or at least I said to have it longer on this end and then shorter on this end, so that I can actually see what I'm doing. And just so you know, if you are interested, when I was having my hair cut, my fringe came down to just below the top lip of my mouth, so I really couldn't see anything. But now, fortunately, it's just above my eyebrows, which is ideal because it allows my eyes to see things. But anyway, let's get into the PayPal donations window. Thank you guys for these. And just before we went live, there was a donation from Marilyn, so thank you for that, Marilyn, and it was for £5. And the message is, congrats on 171,000 subs. Hi Phil and everyone, I'll be in the catch-up crew. The full pink moon was beautiful. Hope you and other wingers noticed, with a heart. So thank you for that, Marilyn. And I'm not sure, I'm trying to think of whether I saw a full pink moon. I saw an orange moon kind of thing last night, but I don't know whether it's going to change depending on where you are as to which colour the moon is on that night. Don't know, because obviously it's nighttime here in the UK at a different time to the USA, so maybe by the time it was nighttime in the USA, then it's turned a different colour. But there certainly was a very bright moon a few days ago, and yeah, I could see it in the actual daytime. So it was that bright that even though it was clear blue skies, you could still see the moon in the sky. It was very Star Wars-esque. But anyway, thank you for that donation, Marilyn. And I'm just going to scroll up because Orlando's in the house and has donated £7. Thank you for that, Orlando. And the message is, I am enjoying dinner with one of my best friends. I will join late or be part of the catch-up crew. Rock on, everyone, with some rock horns. So thank you for that, Orlando. And whenever we mention Orlando, we have a quick plug of the mug. And here it is with a great idea on there. Despite the likes, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't hit that thumbs up already, it would be much appreciated. If you want to get your hands on any of the merchandise, the t-shirts, the hoodies, the mugs, the caps as well that are on spring.com, there's going to be a link in the description below to take you through to that if you want to find the Wings of Pegasus store on spring.com. But also, if you can see a tray underneath this video, just click on any of the items and you'll be able to go straight through to the merchandise. But there is the mug that we always have a little reference to, where we have a plug of the mug when Orlando is up on screen, and generally when Orlando donates very early. So thank you for that, Orlando. And I'm just going to scroll up because there's been another donation from Marilyn for £5. So thank you for that, Marilyn. And the message is, as a non-musician back when you were teaching guitar, what was their first lesson? Tuning the guitar or where your hands go? I don't know, with a heart. So thank you for that, Marilyn. And teaching guitar, the first lesson, obviously it depends. If it's their first ever lesson, generally people worked out from YouTube how to tune a guitar because there's loads of videos on there, and pretty much anyone can just pick up a tuner such as this kind of thing. But then again, nowadays the headstock tuners are very popular, where you just clip it on the headstock of your guitar and you can tune it like that. So it's a little bit more simple because you can just attach it to your guitar, and generally you don't have to worry about losing it. But if somebody was, I don't think I've ever had to teach somebody how to string a guitar. I'm talking about going right back to the beginning, because the guitar already had strings on from the shop that they bought it from. And I might have just given them a guide as to how to tune the guitar with a tuner, just telling them the notes that they should be looking out for, and when it's flat, and when it's sharp, what it looks like on the tuner. But like I said, I think a lot of people work it out from YouTube, and there's lots of great videos that really help you to be able to tune your guitar, but give you instructions on how to do so many things, and changing strings, for example. So it's all on the internet nowadays. That's what I always say. Whatever you want to learn how to do, just type it into Google and you will be able to learn how to do it. So it's amazing that we have all of that technology just pretty much on our phones. You can just pick up your phone, type in whatever you want to know in the world, and you'll be able to figure it out. So certainly tuning the guitar and tuning a guitar is one of those things that is very easy to look up on YouTube. And yeah, teaching, I haven't really ever had to go really that far back to basics. But thank you for that donation, Marilyn. And we've now had a quick bit of loading there because another one has come in from Diane. So thank you for this, Diane, and it's her £3.45 donation. Thank you for that. The message is, I turned my older sister onto your analysis videos and she just shared it with her son. So that's how the number of subscribers goes up. Congrats. So thank you for that, Diane. And yeah, I think it's just word of mouth and the videos getting suggested, and also just people checking out another video, and maybe watching a few videos and not necessarily subscribing straight away, but then after a few videos some people say, oh, I've been watching your channel for quite a while now and I'm now subscribing, which is great. So yeah, thank you everybody for hitting that subscribe button and for spreading the word, and yeah, just getting the videos out there even more. It is much appreciated. But thank you for that, Diane, as well. This is the other thing, that sometimes the artists that I do feature and the bands that I feature post some of my videos and the videos that I do on their web pages and their Facebook. So that's a really cool thing to have them posting it. It's great because it obviously opens it up to a new audience. And the Allman Brothers, for example, are one of those bands that posted it on their page and contacted me about it. So yeah, really cool stuff to have the bands that then get in touch and then post it on their pages and their Twitter. It's really cool. But anyway, thank you so much for that donation, Diane. And I can see that there have been a few more donations in that super chat window. So thank you, Kate, who has donated $20, and that is a straight up donation. And Mike has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Mike. The message is bright sunshine in Pittsburgh, so I went outside to play. Then the train came. I did locomotive breath. So thank you for that, Mike, and getting outside and maybe playing a little bit of guitar. But then again, a lot of people are getting outside to now play sports, which is something that, especially in lockdown, people have been just not allowed to go outside and play sports and get together. I guess with team games, it's going to be something that's going to be banned, unfortunately, if you are in lockdown, because of the close proximity to each other. But with professional football here, or soccer as we call it over in the USA, we've pretty much been doing the whole soccer thing for most of the season. There's a little bit of a time, I think it was last year in the summertime, or a little bit towards the end of the season, where it was all called off because COVID was really going out of control at that point. But it's been pretty regular now with the European Cup, I think, with all the competitions, the club competitions, but also the Euro, which is now Euro 2021. It should have happened last year, but it's now going to be happening this year, and that means traveling to other countries, at least the teams are. So that all seems to be going ahead, and certainly, yeah, getting outside and playing sport is something people have wanted to do, but not necessarily the team games because of the social distancing and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, Mike, thank you for that donation. And T-Sizd has donated $19.99. Thank you so much for that. And the message is, hey Phil, greetings from the US. Just picked up a 1983 Laney Pro Tube pre-AOR 100 watt head 4x12 cab being shipped from the UK. Any experience with this kind of amp or any old amps, or do you prefer newer gear? So thank you for this message and that donation. So to address the only Laney amp I ever have had is the first amp I ever got, which was probably a 20 or 30 Laney amp, just a practice amp, so nothing fancy, but it did have a distortion channel, which just blew my mind at that age that I was. I think I was probably 13 or 14, and I'd been practicing playing guitar on acoustic guitar. So now I got an electric guitar, and I got a practice amp that was just amazing to have, an electric guitar and an amp that I can make sound distorted. So it meant that all of these songs that I was listening to, like Jimi Hendrix, I could start to get a similar kind of sound with the amp that I had. So yeah, I haven't had what I would consider a proper amp in terms of being 100 watt, 150 watts, something that you'd go out and really open the taps on when you're playing live. And I did have a MOSFET, Marshall MOSFET. I mean, this was a Marshall stack, and I think that was maybe 100 watts. So the two cabinets were 100 watt head, and I had two cabinets 50 watts because obviously it was a stack. So I think it was almost a little bit taller than I was. and it might have been taller than I was because it was, yeah, a full stack. So at that time it was very loud, but it was really quite an old amp, and I was running a Pod XT Live through that MOSFET, so the sound was a little bit weird. I was actually running it through a Behringer mini kind of 4-channel mixer as well to boost the volume before it then got to the amp. So I had a really complicated setup back when I first started gigging, and this is in my early 20s. For original music, I started gigging with cover bands, or at least my own cover band, when I was in my late teens. But yeah, so that was, yeah, a little bit different having the MOSFET. But then I moved over to having my Line 6 Spider HD 150, and that's a Spider 3 HD 150. So that's a transistor amp, of course. It's got all of the effects stored in the head, because I started to get a little bit tired of having to obviously go to gigs and having to carry a full stack, Marshall stack, to tiny venues, and sometimes going down steep stairs. It was a bit of a nightmare. So then I just went for that half stack approach of just having the cabinet, having the head on top, and 150 watts was really loud enough for anything that I needed for pubs and clubs. And generally, if I was ever playing a larger gig, for example in London, like the Grand, if you guys know that, at Clapham Junction, or the O2, and these different places that are properly big venues, then it was absolutely fine for that as well, because your amp would get mic'd up, and I would only have to have it probably putting out maybe 75 to 100 watts, because obviously when you're playing at a huge venue, the PA is ridiculously loud. And the only problem with that is sometimes they tell you just to turn your amp down, and then you wouldn't be able to hear what you're playing on stage, because these speakers are in front of you going out to the crowd, and you can't hear because of the drums and everything that's kicking off behind you. And you might have a monitor in front of you that's giving you a lot of drums and bass, and you can't hear your guitar. So it's certainly a unique experience, and something that I refer to when we look at some live performances of bands and artists playing in huge gigs and huge venues. Sometimes you literally can't hear what you're playing on your guitar when you are playing. So it's something that you have to try and account for when you are practicing and rehearsing. Just be so rehearsed that you will play what you are going to play, even if you can't hear what you're playing. But anyway, thank you for that donation. And I haven't had any experience from getting amps shipped over from the USA, for example. And in terms of answering that last question, do you prefer newer gear? I do prefer newer gear nowadays. It's just a lot simpler, and especially with my live setup, having just effectively like a trigger system. Obviously it's going to be a foot pedal system that I've got on the floor, like a floorboard, but it's Line 6, and it's really simplified. So I've just got 4 channels that give me just 4 stored effects that I can have. So generally I'll have my clean tone, maybe with a little bit of chorus on there. I'll then have my heavy tone, or a heavier tone, maybe a little bit more on the crunchy side. I'll then have a lot heavier tone, so really laying into the overdrive a little bit more if I'm playing some heavy riffs. And then I'll have my lead tone, which is pretty much the same as the heavy tone that I use for riffs, but have a little bit of delay on there as well. And I've got different banks and different channels that I can control from the floor that are all changing the effects in the head, because the head of the amp stores all of the effects that you're changing to. So again, it means I don't have to have a complicated setup and foot pedal setup on that floorboard in front of me. I can just have 4 banks and then change the banks. I can have an A, B, C, and D and change as many banks as I want. Pretty much, I think there's about 50 or maybe even 100 in the head of the amp that you can store. So yeah, I just prefer that live setup to be really simple, and also not have to lift loads of gear and worry about having to just get a million patch leads on the go, making sure everything is connected. So that's what I've gone for. But anyway, thank you for that donation. And it's something that when talking about live setups and that kind of stuff, I do tend to go on a little bit, but we will jump into that PayPal donations window. I can see there's been another one in there. So thank you, Linda Z, who has donated £5. And the message is, so if the internet didn't exist, how do you think you would teach a new student how to tune their guitar. So thank you for that, Linda Z. And in exactly the same way that I used to tune my guitar, which is get a tuning fork. And a tuning fork will give you a different note. You can get different notes, and I can't even remember which note. It had to probably be an E. So when you hit the tuning fork on the table, it rings out the note, and it will ring out an E. So once you know an E, you can tune your high E to that note. And this means that the high E would be an E4 if you're by a piano, or if you're on your guitar, that'll be your open E string, the high E string. So the first string, if you're looking at it numbered wise, but if you're looking down at your guitar and you're playing your guitar, it's the furthest one away from you, it's the thinnest string, that is an E, an E4. So you hit the tuning fork on the table, and then you listen to it, and then you try and get the note to the same note. You hit it again, because obviously it dies quite quickly. You listen to it. Once you have that high E, then you've got a reference point. So you can then you can tune the low E, because now you want to be 2 octaves below that. So once you've got the low E down there, you go to your 5th fret on your low E string, you hold that down, which will give you an A, which will give you your next string. So hold down that note, hit the next string, get it to the same note, and I'm not going to explain the whole process here, but you go through that same process. You just hold down the note that you want the next note to be, and it's always pretty much, apart from the G string, it's going to be the 5th fret that you're holding down in order to get the next note down on the G string. Because there's a change in tuning, it's the 4th fret, and then you get to the B. And anyway, it's something that I think you would have to, or I would have to demonstrate. But back in the day, that's how I used to do it. That's how my dad used to do it. You just had a tuning fork and you listened out for that E. But anyway, thank you, Linda Z. Hopefully that has answered your question. And yeah, just the old school. I mean, we are talking probably, I mean, when did the whole internet thing start? I think when I was in my teenage years, the internet was really starting to kick off and start up. So it would have been when I was maybe 12 or 13 that I was still using a tuning fork in order to hit that on the table, listen to it, and then get the string in tune. But anyway, and again, I think it's a really good way of tuning your ear, having to listen to a pitch and then tuning a string to match that pitch exactly. So sometimes just relying on a machine, you don't go through that same process, and your brain doesn't learn to understand notes and music and sounds like a language, and trying to get that string on your guitar to sound the same as the word that's being said by this little tuning fork. Just get those words to match up, because that's effectively all music is, just notes that are like a language. But anyway, thank you, Linda Z, for that donation. And Marge is in the house and has donated £2.07. Thank you for that, Marge. The message is, I would like to have a mug with your word guff and cartoon guy on it. So thank you for that, Marge. And I don't know how I would design that, because in order to get things printed on mugs, they have to be high resolution, which means that, for example, on this hoodie that I'm wearing with the logo that we have in the top corner, this logo that I send to spring.com, even though it's printed at like this size, that size on the hoodie, when it's sent over, it's massive. It'll be like about maybe 10 times this size, so when it's compressed, you then don't lose any quality. And when it's just printed at the same size, you can lose quality. It gets all pixely. So it's the same approach for a mug, but I don't know how I'd be able to get that. Maybe doing a freeze or just a screenshot of one of the videos and then maybe crop it or something. Yeah, I don't know. And then maybe just write the words on it. It could be something for the future. You never know. And then people would think, what is that mug all about? And then you'd have to tell them that it's the real life stories on Wings of Pegasus that probably very few people have seen, because we only really look at them on these live streams. But yeah, it might be interesting to think about doing a mug design in the future. But thank you for that, Marge. If people want it, then I'm sure we can make it happen. But thank you for that. And I'm just going to scroll up because Karen has donated £3.45. Thank you for that, Karen. And the message is, "Hi Phil, I've been enjoying your live streams and music analysis videos for about a year. As a musician, I look forward to more of these learning experiences from you. By the way, Chipper noticed your haircut and is looking at your mane with much interest. Cheers, Karen." So thank you for that, Karen, and a big hello to Chipper as well, who is very attentive of what's going on the screen and has noticed the haircut. So thank you for that. And yeah, with the live streams, the music analysis videos, I was trying to see how long I've been live streaming for, because I did mention this in a previous live stream of how many we've done without missing one yet. And I got as far back as mid 2019, and then because I was having to go through it page by page, I just gave up. So it's got to be before 2019. I don't know the last time we missed a live stream, but we've been going live on a Tuesday and a Wednesday and a Saturday for I don't know how long. And when we go back to maybe the live stream Tuesdays, which is just the one day that we used to do, I don't know, it must be years that we haven't missed one. So it's great that we are just getting together relentlessly on a Tuesday night and a Saturday night, and also we have New Year's Eve live streams, Christmas Eve live streams. It's all been kicking off recently, but thank you everyone for joining me on the live streams and giving me pictures to show as well. We are going to be taking a look at a couple of pictures later on, but I think it's just going to be Mary tonight who's got a monopoly on the pictures, so we're going to be taking a look at a couple of Mary's pictures, but I think those are the only ones that have been uploaded. If you want to upload some pictures of some Wings of Pegasus hoodies or CDs if you've received one, by the way, quick update on the CDs. I am in the process of restocking, and this is something that I posted on Patreon last night, what to do with the update, where I also mentioned about Under the Spotlight and that kind of stuff, but maybe I'll mention that a little bit later, even though it's 25 to 1 already here in the morning. Unbelievable, but the time just disappears. Last night I did a little update to mention that I was restocking, and they are currently in production. The CD replication company are now just doing those, and I will have those soon. So we will be back in stock on the website, which is great, and thank you everyone for ordering the CDs recently and making it so I need to restock the CDs. It is much appreciated. But also just for tuning in to the channel and checking out not only the analysis videos, the live streams, the live analysis videos, but also the other stuff we have on the channel. There's a few interviews, there's a couple of Under the Spotlights, but no, a couple of Under the Spotlights are going to be coming up soon, but there are a couple of the in the deep end, which I'm trying to remember. I think there were just two of them, but now we're going to be getting into Under the Spotlight, and I think I just mentioned now that yesterday I was talking to Buck Dharma, and Buck is currently working on his version of that, and it's going to be really interesting to take a look at that. But also we have James Bell, who's doing his version of it, which we'll be doing early next month. And when I say early next month, we are talking about pretty much in maybe a week and a half. So I'm going to organize that with him. So it might be the case that we just get a couple of Under the Spotlights out really close together, which will be interesting. There might even just be a week between them, maybe even less than that. We will see. But yes, so the wheels are still turning behind the scenes with regard to Under the Spotlight. So yeah, I know that Buck is really trying to get that done before the end of the month. So a big thank you to him for not only just spending his time on it in the first place, but also for just being such a nice guy and so understanding and really fitting it into his schedule as well, because Buck is such a busy guy with not only his writing, performing and promotion for their recent album, and he was on the channel here as well, so check out that video if you get a chance of myself talking with Buck. But very much looking forward to Blue Oyster Cult coming back to the UK and gigging with Deep Purple later in the year. That is going to be awesome, really looking forward to that. But anyway, Thank you, Karen, for that donation. And we are going to be jumping into the cover video for tonight as well. And by the way, guys, if you haven't hit that thumbs up yet, it'd be much appreciated if you could. We are up to 188 likes so far. So we're looking for another 12 people to get ourselves up to 200. Maybe we can hit that big 200 or 2 tons. Is that? I've heard 1 ton or 100 being subscribed. Described. This is it. Subscribed. Maybe subscribed. Described. Described. Very similar words. So I think my mind is really focusing on the fact that we've got a crazy amount of subscribers. So thank you everyone for subscribing again. But yeah, a ton. I think that's in snooker. When they get to a break that is 100, they say it's a ton, and maybe that's I might be making this up. If anybody knows about snooker, I used to play a little bit of snooker, but I'm not sure. I'm sure I've seen them hold up things in the crowd where it says a ton for 100. But anyway, so I'm just saying 2 tons for 200, and we're only 1 away. So thank you for that spike of the likes, and there it is, 200 likes, and very well timed. Thank you guys for doing that. And by the way, Craig has just donated $20 in the super chat window. Thank you so much for that. And the message is goal, with a guy sliding on his knees very quickly. So thank you for that, Craig. Much appreciated for all of the donations tonight already, and hitting that thumbs up. And we are going to be jumping over to Patreon to have a little look at the request for tonight with regards to the cover. And I did see somewhere, I think it was You Know My Name. I saw this, and for some reason, again, I was watching a little bit of Casino Royale, the movie with Daniel Craig, James Bond. I don't know, it's just destiny that these things happen just before live stream. So therefore, when something is requested that catches my eye, considering I've just been watching it, I think, and I'm going to try and find where this was. And You Know My Name was requested by Beverly, and there it is. And the message is, the requests were That's Metal, Amelia, and You Know My Name. And the message continues. It says it's been a while for that one. So thank you for that, Beverly. We are going to be taking a look at this, and this is also Ken Johnson, who joined me with this collaboration that we did, and he was playing his violin on this, and yeah, just played it amazingly well. So huge thank you to Kent for joining me. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you guys after. Rock!
Take a life, do you know what you give? Odds are you won't like what it is. When the storm arrives, would you be seen with me by the merciless eyes of deceit? I've seen angels fall from blinding heights, but you yourself are nothing so divine.
And there we have it. That was my cover and Kent Johnson's collaboration with myself. And it was our version of You Know My Name, the Chris Cornell classic, and one of the best Bond themes, I think, that is out there. Certainly, I mean, Chris's voice... What a voice he had. Just stand alone, so unique, such control. So anyway, it was a lot of fun to do that particular cover, and also to have Kent Johnson on the strings just brings a whole new dimension to it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And let me just mention as well that thank you to... I might actually be able to get this up on screen because... we had a purchase on the website, and thank you to Howard, who has just purchased the signed album over there. Thank you for doing that. And by the way, if you want to head over to wingsofpegasus.com/music, you can get your hands on my album called Persistence if you want to, and I send those all out from here. So it also came with a message, and Howard says, can you put, and there you have it, and my name, Howard, thanks Phil. So no problem, Howard, thank you for purchasing that, and I will write that on the CD for you. So I'm just going to have a little scroll up because I think we then get the confirmation, and let me see if this is going to work. Right, let me scroll up because we then get the confirmation of the sale. So thank you again, and now it should go back to the PayPal window because Lee has donated £5. Thank you for that, Lee. And the message is, hi Phil, your hair looks great. I hope you all have a nice live stream. I have a make-up piano lesson, so see you all later with a smiley face. So thank you for that, Lee, and I hope your piano lesson goes well, and thank you for that donation and the kind words about the hair. It is much appreciated. I don't know with the hair, I mean, I used to have a lot of under hair, so that my hair here used to go out, and especially when I got hot, like performing a song or something, the volume then just goes absolutely off the scales. Whereas at the moment, I know for a fact that my hairdresser has layered, that's what she said. She said that she's going to put in lots more layers in order to try and stop it from just jumping up to, about kind of 4 inches or 5 inches out to the side. So that's what has been attempted with this particular haircut. It's a little bit less volumized, but thank you for the kind words, Lee, about the haircut. And people tuning in now, I'm sure, well, maybe they'll notice it, maybe they won't. I guess if we're watching some older videos where my hair's a little bit shorter, they'll be totally oblivious to the, I don't know how many months hair growth that I had going on, but the first haircut of 2021 has been completed. And it's amazing that we're almost into May, but it did happen eventually. Anyway, thank you for that donation, Lee. And there has been another donation from Steve, and this is for £5. Thank you for that, Steve. And the message is, nice cover. What is your favourite James Bond theme movie? Thank you for that, Steve. And I'd say that I am a big fan of the more recent James Bond, the kind of reboots with Daniel Craig being a little bit more serious or a little bit more on the darker side of things. Same thing really with the Batman movies as well, even though I am a big fan of the classic Michael Keaton type Batmans, in the 1980s. I do like those, even though they're a little bit more tongue-in-cheek. And certainly, I mean, with James Bond movies back in the 70s and the 80s, they were a bit more tongue-in-cheek as well. Actually, quite a lot tongue-in-cheek with the classic one-liners, even though they have kept an element of those in the reboots with Daniel Craig, but they tend to be less tongue-in-cheek, I think. But sometimes here in the UK, they get the rights in order to show the James Bond movies on terrestrial TV, which means like ITV, and on channels that show them during the day. And I really like it when they're showing a James Bond movie in the afternoon, because I just have it on in the background, and you can watch movies like The Spy Who Loved Me, all the classics, Goldfinger as well. So yeah, I like to have those on in the background, and also seeing Sean Connery. I think he is a really cool James Bond. So yeah, I do sometimes like to have those on in the background while I'm either doing comments or emails or doing a little bit of research on future videos. So yeah, I am a big James Bond movie fan, and I am a big fan of the reboot and the way that they've gone a little bit more serious. Similar, I mean, The Dark Knight as well. When I'm talking about Batman, yeah, Christian Bale, all the movies that he did, I really like those kind of Batman movies as well. So yeah, for me, the Batman, I know that I'm sidetracking here a little bit, but the Batman movies went through a little bit of a weird period where they were, I don't know, not really to my taste personally, where you had Arnold Schwarzenegger in there, and you could tell that they were being produced. Even George Clooney, he was Batman at one point, and I think that was maybe where I lost a little bit of interest in the Batman movies, because you could tell that they were doing it on a set and it was all really in-house. Whereas I like the more expansive movies where when you're watching a James Bond movie, for example, you can tell that they've been on location and they've shot outside, and it just takes you more into that world rather than being able to tell that it's been done on a set or whether it's been done all green screen, which I guess with my editing, video editing, I can spot green screen quite regularly. And sometimes they don't even key it that well, so you can see where they've cut corners with it. So fortunately nowadays it's getting harder to spot and it's a lot more accurate, but yeah, when they started to cut corners with it early on with the technology, it was a bit obvious. But anyway, thank you for that, Steve. So hopefully I've given you a few Bond movie titles there. Certainly Casino Royale is one of my favourite movies of the reboot. I mean, Skyfall was pretty good as well, especially the Adele theme. But thank you, Steve. Anyway, I could talk about movies for a very long time because I am a movie lover, even though I don't get much time to watch them. But I certainly spent a lot of my life previously watching movies. And yeah, being subscribed to Love Film, by the way, which used to be a company that sent you films through the post, and then you would send them back. They just sent you the CD or the Blu-ray and you watched it. And then, of course, as the internet then started to catch on and the amount of megabytes you could download increased in terms of speed, it meant that now you could watch movies online. You didn't have to have a physical copy. So yeah, now I am on Netflix and Amazon Prime. So I do try and catch a movie now and again whenever I can. And I generally watch maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time because yeah, I can maybe just have a little break and do that. But thank you, Steve, for that donation, and apologies for the very long answers. But yeah, talking about movies, I could do that pretty much for a whole live stream and some, just talking about 80s movies and 90s movies and just movies up until the current day. But anyway, thank you, Sue, as well, who has donated £20. Thank you for that, Sue. The message is, hello, everyone. Dropping in to spike the likes. We'll catch up on the catch-up crew. So thank you for that, Sue. And hello to the catch-up crew who are watching this in the future. Thank you for joining me in the future, and you can still hit that thumbs up if you want to in order to get the likes a little bit closer towards the target. The Pick Roulette likes target is still set at 370. We are not relenting with that target. At some point in the future, I'm sure that we will hit it again, or we'll hit it for the first time, but we will see. We are at 222. It's all the twos. 222 likes. So thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up. If you haven't done that yet, it would be much appreciated if you could. So we've had another donation in the super chat window, and this has come in from Orlando, and it's for $2. Thank you, Orlando. And the message is, hello, I am lurking. So Orlando is lurking in that live chat room, maybe popping in with a comment now and again, but he's also lurking in that super chat window. Thank you for that, Orlando, for the earlier donation as well. So let's see, we've got Billy in the house, and Patrick, Wang Fuzi, Jennifer is in there, Susan and Dennis are just going through. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight and for hitting that thumbs up. It is much appreciated. Big shout out to the moderators in there, which are Laurie and Carla. Neil will be in there as well. In fact, we might just about to see Laurie's name going through, and Laurie's got a great idea there, saying spiketh those likeths, one and all. So thank you for that, Laurie, and thank you, moderators, for doing such a fantastic job in that live chat room, keeping this such a great place to be on live stream evenings on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Now, the Wednesday live streams are analysis live streams. So if you want to check one of those out, it's going to be happening the same time as the live streams on a Tuesday and a Saturday, which is 12 midnight Greenwich Mean Time. So it means that if you want to find out what time it is where you are, just type in Greenwich Mean Time into Google and you'll be able to find out whatever the time is where you are compared to where it is here, what the time is here. So you can make that conversion. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow night. And in terms of the video that we're going to be looking at, I'm not sure yet, but it looks like it might be a little bit of Greta Van Fleet. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that is going to be okay from a copyright perspective tomorrow night. And it's always one of those things that I have to weigh up whether videos are going to be okay on copyrights, whether you guys will even be able to see the analysis, because if it's not okay, then the analysis does get cut off. So that's something that I'm hoping will be okay in the future, and I might try and do something bang up to date with Greta Van Fleet, because I have a video on them that I did quite a while ago, so it'd be great to revisit them, maybe have a look at something recent. And I know that Carla has sent through a request or two, or at least some options for Greta Van Fleet to have a look at, so we might be doing one of those tomorrow night. I'll set up an event after this live stream, so look out for that live stream event that's going to be the live analysis. I always do that after, or set up the event after the live stream. Here, sometimes when I set up a couple of events, it confuses YouTube and it starts messing around with the days and the times. So that will be set up after this live stream. So look out for that. And hopefully you guys will get the notification to know that that is going to be happening. But even if you don't get notification, I will be live streaming with a live analysis tomorrow night at 12 midnight Greenwich Mean Time. So look out for that one. And we are going to be jumping into another video, and this is going to be another request from Patreon. So thank you guys for requesting some songs over there. We have Orlando, I think, was the first request we had in there, and Orlando sent in a request for Hero, Running Blind, Don't Cry. I think we did have Running Blind right at the end of the last live stream, if I do remember correctly. I think that's what it was. And Hero, I can't remember whether we had that, but let me have a little look down and see what else has been requested. And we kicked off tonight with Greed, and that was Marilyn who requested that one, so thank you for that, Marilyn. And we have Desico Incorporated, so Des has requested a couple of covers in there, which was Winger, which would have been Miles Away, and Don't Stop Believing. Greed, Amelia. I guess we haven't seen Amelia in a while. Maybe the acoustic version of Amelia. And Beverly has asked for that as well. Melissa's thrown in a few requests. I'm just going to scroll down. And Lynn has requested Amelia as well as Lisa. So yeah, Amelia has been requested quite a lot. Let's have a little look if I can find the button to click on. Hopefully you guys will bear with me while I find the Amelia acoustic video where I'm doing, I think I introduced this anyway when I'm singing it, saying that I record myself and then I record myself again. But let's have a look at this. Hopefully this is the right button. I'm going to click it. Let's see what happens, and hopefully I'll see you after this if it works. Rock! Alright, Phil here, Wings of Pegasus, and I had a little bit of spare time, so I thought I'd whip down an acoustic version of a track called Amelia, which will be on the album once it comes out. Now I've decided to sit on the squeakiest chair ever. Hopefully that won't affect it too much. Now the idea that I've got in my head is to play along like a version now, and then play along to that version afterwards, and then hopefully sort of sync it up somehow. But it should work. In my head, I think it's going to be fine. So let's see.
I try to get inside, you're on my own, no time for talking. Amelia, Amelia, how could you leave me on this way? I knew I should have stayed away. Amelia, Amelia, there's nothing more left to say. It's time to go our separate ways. They say that time is a healer. I don't believe what they say. I'm broken anyway. Ever since we parted, all this pain has started. It's never ending. On a roll, this emptiness. Each time I try to get inside, you're on my own, no time for talking. Amelia, Amelia, how could you lead me on this way? I knew I should have stayed away. Amelia, Amelia, there's nothing more left to say. It's time to go our separate ways. Don't tell me you love me when you're sorry. It's not enough. Ooh, no. Only this time I woke and broke and free. Amelia, Amelia, how could you lead me on this way? I knew I should have stayed away. Amelia, Amelia, there's nothing more left to say. It's time to go our separate ways. Amelia, Amelia, how could you lead me on this way? I knew I should have stayed away. Amelia, 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 Amelia.
And there we have it. And I cut it off just before I said cheers at the end. So everyone will know that sign off if you've seen that video previously. But that was a great example of no side hair layering in that video, the layers that weren't in there. And I was saying in the comments section while that was being played that, yeah, I think even with this amount of layering going on, the volume would increase ridiculously if it wasn't so cold here in the UK. I mean, it's not really cold, but it's quite a nice temperature where the hair doesn't go crazy. So thank you guys. I also saw, I think Beverly went through saying that I was blessed to have a nice voice, and thank you for that, Beverly. And I couldn't sing, so I know that I didn't have a voice. I wasn't really blessed with a voice, and then I started to really work at it, and pretty much the same way that I learned to play the guitar, just knuckled down and practiced it every night, singing, that is. And I think anyone can learn to sing. It's just having the patience to accept that it is going to take a very long time, but the more you practice singing, the more your ear starts to be able to hear notes and hear how accurate you're being yourself with notes. The thing that I really focused on to begin with was pitch. So being able to sing a note, because I couldn't hit a note accurately. So then I just wanted to make sure that I could hit these notes. And yeah, if you just keep on doing it, just day in, day out, your brain is amazing. It will learn how to control your vocal cords to hit the notes that you can hear. They will then snap to that particular length and you'll be able to hit that note. So it's amazing when you think about it that your brain can control your vocal cords to get them to go to the exact same length that they need to go in order to hit whatever note your hearing. But I guess this is all we're doing throughout our whole lives. When we are growing up, we are imitating our parents with language, and the vocal cords are moving and chopping and changing in order to give a certain expression to the voice, and we're changing the shape of our mouth to copy what we're hearing. So yeah, it's exactly the same with singing. If you listen to somebody singing, if you just try and copy it, after maybe a few years, I mean, it took me, I don't know how many years to get okay at singing, but if you just keep on doing it, eventually you will be able to sing. So yeah, that's it. Obviously, it is a lifelong pursuit. Even the greatest singers in the world will still say that they haven't mastered singing. It is one of those lifelong journeys that you just are on your own journey, and you just learn how to sing independently. You can look at courses. I've been through loads of online courses of, paying like $200 or something to get then the 10 series program or whatever, and I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, so I've just tried to pick up as much as possible. But I think, yeah, everybody has their own way of trying to teach themselves or try to get their vocal cords to do what they want. That is one of the annoying things about YouTube videos and vocal coaches, is they'll do a demonstration of a vocal exercise, but if you can't do it, if you can't get your voice to sound like the vocal coach, then they can't really help you, because the video doesn't tell you personally how to achieve that sound. You have to try and figure it out for yourself, because when they say, oh, just do the sound of a door creaking, for example, where they'll make a noise with their voice that will be ridiculously high, and they'll do it really easily because they're a vocal coach and they've had probably 20 years of training with their voice, so they can do it. But they just say, make that sound. But if you can't make that sound, what do? How do you get to that sound? You need to have a step-by-step video that obviously will just be for you, and for that you do need one-on-one vocal coaching, and all that kind of stuff is probably a lot better way of doing it. But anyway, thank you for that compliment, Beverly, and I did go off at a tangent there, but it is 1:05 here in the morning, so we're going to be maybe live streaming for another 10 minutes, so not too much longer. If you do get a chance to hit that thumbs up, it'd be much appreciated. And I can see that there have been another donation, or a few donations in the super chat window, so thank you guys for those. And the messages that have come in, Mike's donated $5. Thank you for that, Mike. And the message was, running blind got a spike of the likes, so thank you for that, Mike. And Nalita has donated $10. Thank you for that, Nalita. The message is, haven't got my CD yet, but if it gets here tomorrow, that would be a great birthday present. Oh, and I love movies based on true stories, with a smiley face. So thank you for that, Nalita. And I am a big fan of the real life movies as well. Whenever it starts up saying this is based on a true story, I think you're always a little bit more invested in that movie, because it just means a lot more when it is based on something that has happened. But as they say, the truth is stranger than fiction. And certainly with some of the movies that you see that you just can't believe were true stories, yeah, there's so much more interesting for me personally to watch those. But I do love fictional movies as well, and I guess things like Batman, which are like science fiction, fantasy movies, all that kind of stuff. Superman, yeah, I do like those kind of movies as well. But thank you for that donation, Lolita. And Des has donated $20. Desico Incorporated, thank you for that. The message is, beautiful song, Phil. You look awesome with some rock horns and a heart. So thank you for that. And Ken has donated $5. Thank you for that, Ken. The message is, beautiful brother with a guitar. Thank you, Ken, for that. And Drina has donated $3. Thank you, Drina. And the message is, the picture of the guy with doing the big thumbs up. So thank you for that. And Larry has popped in with a $5 donation as well. Thank you for that, Larry. And this is a high five, it looks like, in the picture. So thank you, Larry, and everybody for those very kind donations in the super chat window. And I know that there has been another donation in the PayPal window, so I'm just going to jump over there to make sure that I don't miss anybody out. And Beth has donated £10.34. Thank you for that, Beth. The message is, evening, Phil. And Wingers looking good. Rock with a smiley face. We've got some musical notation of the clefs there, smiley face. We've got a heart there as well. We've got the rock horns and we've got the guitar as well. So thank you for that, Beth. And we have had another donation, I do believe. And, oh, hang on, we can't actually see what's going on the screen. So let me actually try and work this out to work out what has happened. Okay, we are back. So thank you, Beth, for that donation. We've got another one that's coming from Lynn. We're back on track and it's loaded up. So Lynn has donated £20. Thank you so much for that, Lynn. And I'm just going to scroll down. The message is, my dad would tell bedtime stories with morals to me. If I had been less than kind to my younger brother, they included a mean little girl named Selfishio. Amelia being 4 syllables always makes me remember Selfishio. Amelia was kind of mean too. So thank you for that, Lynn, and that backstory as well. I think maybe Selfishio would be maybe slightly more difficult to sing than Amelia, but yeah, it could be a little side project for Amelia, a different version of it. But thank you for that, Lynn. I think it is a great idea for parents to tell bedtime stories that do have morals in there, and yeah, it really does help them to learn and give them a little bit of a steadier footing. It's certainly something that with my nephews, my sister always tries to give a little bit of a meaning to stories, bedtime stories as well, and they know where the line is, where the line is drawn in terms of behavior. But fortunately, my nephews are into reading, and they do have some screen time, but it's something that my sister is very on top of and conscious of, just giving them a certain amount of screen time, but then also making sure that they get out there and exercise, play a bit of football, jump up and down on the trampoline that they've got as well. So yeah, that's good fun for them, and occasionally Uncle Phil will join them on the trampoline as well. But things do get a little bit out of hand sometimes when they get a little bit hyper, so it's just trying to keep control of them. But as you can imagine, having 3 boys, 2 boys age 6 and 1 age 4, they do get a little bit crazy sometimes. But anyway, thank you for that, Lynn. And Richard has donated £2.78. Thank you so much for that. And the message is, thank you for knuckling down. So thank you for that, Richard. And I'm just going to scroll up as well, because I think there has been another donation that has come in. And this is from Larry. Thank you for this, Larry. It's a donation of £6.90. Thank you for that. And the message is, best wishes and play on! ! So thank you for that, Larry. And there has been another donation that's come in, and this is Karen again, and this is for £1.38. Thank you for that, Karen. The message is, hi Phil, are there things to look out for to see if a video might be blocked by copyright? For example, I think if it says comments are turned off, it's very likely that this is the case. Cheers, Karen. So I think with the videos, I'm not sure if the comments have too much of a bearing on it, because people can upload videos that have the comments turned off, but the video is still accessible. Everyone can see it. I think it's more a case of just looking at a video to see the video having the claim on there. If you hit the description or a little down arrow underneath the video, it will then show the copyright information there. And sometimes that's a good guide to see if there has been a copyright claim made on the video, but the video is still up. You can still watch it. So it means that even if the video has a copyright claim in there, it just means that that video has been monetized by the copyright owners and is still on YouTube. So I think generally, if that happens, then it's okay. And fingers crossed that is going to be the case for the live analysis videos, but we will see. But that's what I tend to just base it on, especially if somebody has uploaded a video with copyright content on there and it's not the official channel of the artist or the band, then there's a good chance that it's going to be okay, and yeah, it'll stay up on YouTube. But thank you for that, Karen. And Patricia has donated £4.03. Thank you so much for that, Patricia. And the message is: are your immediate and extended family big supporters of your music and YouTube channel, or do you get helpful suggestions about why don't you go work in a corporate job in an office cubicle or in a government job like the post office? I have friends who've played in bands for years but still get a lot of less than supportive feedback from family. So thank you for that message, Patricia. And with my parents, I mean, my dad has been into music his whole life pretty much. He didn't really get seriously into music probably till he was in his maybe 20s or something like that. He did have a band at school and all that kind of stuff, but in terms of focusing on music, he did play a lot of sports as well. So he had a lot of things that he concentrated on. He kind of didn't really focus on just music. He did lots of other things. So I think because of his influence, like, he's always been into music, played an instrument, and I'm sure that he would have loved to have made it big as a musician himself back in the day. But like I said, he didn't really have one focus of, for example, spending, maybe 5-10 years of doing it day in, day out and just focusing on that and not doing other things. So because of his influence, he's never stopped me from doing it, and my mum has been supportive as well, and they've never stopped me from doing what I've wanted to do. And I'm sure that there are other people out there who I've heard as well saying, oh, why don't you just get a real job? And even with teaching guitar, I think some people don't see that as a real job because you're playing music or you're just playing your guitar, and they see getting a real job as doing something that you shouldn't enjoy. And I'm very much of the opinion, I mean, when I was 22, I was looking at jobs. I was looking at lots of jobs, but I knew I wanted to do something in music. And I did look at getting jobs in supermarkets, and I did actually get a job at a fish counter once, but I turned that down because I knew I wouldn't be able to do that, like cutting up fish. Like day in, day out. I thought, I'm just going to hold out and try and find something that I can do that's music related. And it just so happened that when I was searching for jobs, there was an opportunity at a music shop to be a guitar teacher in-house for that music shop. So they were obviously doing interviews for guitarists, guitar teachers, and I went along there. And part of the lucky thing for me is part of that, I was going to call it an audition, but a part of that interview was the owner of the store would say, right, here's a guitar, it is totally out of tune it up by ear. And that's something that I've been doing since the age of 13 or 14. So I just did it because I remember what the notes are, and he said that's the quickest anyone's ever tuned up a guitar that I've given to them. He also says, so can you, do you play, how do you play? Do you read? Do you play by ear? And I said, well, I can read a little bit, but I prefer to just play by ear. That's how I learned to play. So I then played the guitar and showed him that I could play something or just repeat something that was given to me on the guitar. So fortunately, he said in the interview that I've got the job, or he's giving the job to me. When can I start? Can I start teaching people? Literally within a few days. So I think I was very lucky in that there was an opening at the shop, first of all, for that position. But secondly, I was lucky that I guess it's not luck. I'd made sure that I put in enough work from the age of 12 or 13 years of age every day to be able to tell the difference between notes, to know chords, to be able to hear something and then play that on the guitar, so that it meant that I was effectively more appropriate to then teach at this shop than other guitar teachers that were now going to the interviews. So it was great in that I just got the job kind of instantly, but I held out because I knew I wanted to do something music based and playing the guitar ideally. But even just working in a music shop, if anything had come about, I would have just done that. It just so happened that, yeah, the teaching kind of did dovetail into what I'd been doing with football coaching and personal training. I had been working with people, with teams, and, been teaching kids. I did some work for Brentford Football Club with football coaching. So I'd always had that kind of coaching approach of being able to work with people, and I didn't mind doing that at all. So then moving into guitar teaching was something that was a bit of a natural progression, and also something that I had more of a passion for rather than coaching football. So yeah, that is something that definitely worked out. But I'm sure that a lot of people get the same approach of people saying, why don't you just get a proper job? You've got to do something you don't enjoy. And I had that certainly with teaching guitar. And now it's probably even worse when they say, why don't you get a proper job rather than just selling your own music that you've spent I don't know how long, 20 years, even longer than that, working on, trying to promote yourself. People never see the amount of work that's gone into it since the age of, with me, 19. I've been doing it every day since the age of 19 until now, trying to promote myself and my music. They don't see all that. They just see now. They see that I've got 171,000 subscribers and that I'm selling albums. They think that this just happened overnight and that I'm so lucky or I'm so jammy, all this kind of stuff. Whereas, I'm closing in on 40 years of age. That's going to be very soon. I'm very close to that, closer than I'd like to be. But that is what happens on this earth. We all age. So when I think about that, I've been doing it every day since the age of 19, trying to get to a point where I can do it full time. I think if you've got the dedication and the discipline to work at anything for even 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, I think once you do get to that point, there's a certain amount of earning where you've actually managed to get to. And I think it's a mistake a lot of people make. They just look at somebody and think, oh, you're lucky. And the reason I didn't make it is I just wasn't lucky. But I think you've just got to really just, even if you're just spending 3 to 4 hours a day for 10, 15 years, at some point you are going to find the way to succeed. You just do all the wrong things and then eventually you find the right thing. I think that's certainly something that I believe in. I've done so many things over the years, and lots of people will see that. Even over the last 5 to 7 years, people who have been watching my channel, they'll see all the things that I've been doing and the collaborations, the riff of the week. I used to do that every Sunday. The live streams that I used to have that really nobody watched, but I did them anyway. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting journey, but one that I wouldn't change for the world, because now I'm here with you guys on these live streams. Anyway, thank you, Patricia, for that question. It kind of opened up a lot of different avenues that I went off on that particular topic, but thank you as well. Deborah, who has donated £6.90, and the message is, we can see your beautiful brown eyes. My favourite movies are Lord of the Rings. I have the same even star necklace that you do. So thank you for that, Deborah. And I do have that necklace somewhere. I think it's in my drawer of I've got lots of different accessories, I guess they're called, that you just kind of wear on your ears, lots of different stuff. So yeah, that's all in there. But yes, I do have brown eyes. I don't know whether you can see my brown eyes now. It's probably not very actually, technically they're hazel eyes, because there's green in there. So it's something that I know that people do generally have just straight brown eyes, but mine have brown and a mix of green, because my dad has green eyes and my mum has brown eyes. So I get a kind of combination that, yeah, is a little bit lighter. So anyway, thank you for that, Deborah. And Mary has donated £5. Thank you for that, Mary. And the message is, Gi thinks he would wear a Wings of Pegasus hoodie. Maybe Spring can do that someday. So thank you for that, Mary. And there are hoodies over on spring.com. As you can see, this is a hoodie. There we go. This is the zip up hoodie as well. So and just mess everything up. But you can get a zipped hoodie, a zip-up hoodie, or the standard hoodie that you put over your head if you really want to mess up your hair. So thank you, Mary, for that. You can get the hoodies in the tray underneath this video, but also there's a link in the description below to head over to the Wings of Pegasus store over at spring.com, and you'll find them all there. So thank you for that, Mary. And Brooke has donated £6.90 as well. Thank you for that, Brooke. We're going to have to call it a day to the live stream pretty soon, because it is 1 here in the morning, and I have to organise next or tomorrow night's live analysis and get that all organised, set up the event, I mean. So thank you guys for the donations, and we have another donation. I'm going to have to scroll up for this, and let me see, make sure Larry was the one that we got to. And Ginny has donated $15. Thank you for that, Ginny. The message is, Phil, in honor of Nolita's birthday, and why do so many rock singers hate their voices like John Lennon? Thanks again. Thank you for that, Ginny. And big happy birthday to Nolita. So everybody in that live chat room, say a huge hello and happy birthday to Nolita. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you, Ginny, for mentioning that. And I think it's natural for everybody to hate their voice initially, especially when everyone starts singing. When you're trying to learn how to sing and control your vocal cords, I think it's just something you get used to, but eventually you kind of come to terms with your voice when you record it, listen to it back, and you think, well, it's getting a little bit better. And I think when you listen just to your voice when you're talking, I think everybody listens to their voice just talking and think, oh, my voice sounds so stupid. But it's just natural, I think, to hate your own voice. But anyway, thank you for that, Ginny. And Craig has donated $5. Thank you so much for that. And the message is Don McLean, Vincent. So thank you for that, Craig. And Don McLean is on the channel here somewhere, and Don did get in touch with me about that particular analysis video that I did, saying thank you to me for doing it, and he's also shared it on his social media, so a big thank you to Don for doing that. But you'll be able to find that on the channel here somewhere. Just type in Don McLean and British guitarist analysis and you'll find it. But thank you for that, Craig. Carl has donated $5. Thank you for this, Carl. The message is, cross the pond, get the shots so all wingers can safely attend the concerts. Lots of outdoor venues around here, hint, hint. So thank you for that, Carl. And at the moment, I'm not one of those people that's getting vaccinated because it's not my age range yet. I think it's 42 years of age and above. So I'm just missing out on that. But when it is my turn, I will take my turn. And thank you, Mike, for donating $5. And the message is, what's the secret to fast tuning? I'm not sure there is a secret. The only thing that I would say is, from the age of 12 and 13, I was just listening to music and taking in music as information and not taking it in visually, because I was listening to records. I mean, like vinyl records, old school records. So putting them on and listening to them. So I started to get maybe a little bit of an ear as to what the notes sound like. And I think that's something that is something that just stuck with me. And I think if you just listen, because by the time I was maybe 22, when I got that job as a guitar teacher and tuning a guitar by ear very quickly, I'd been listening to music for 10 years. And the internet really didn't come around until I was in my probably mid-teens. So, and YouTube wasn't around for a lot longer after that, probably early 20s. So it means that I didn't have that opportunity to look at the information. I was always hearing it, and it means that I was just hearing what an E sounded like. So then I could get that E, and even when I had an E, then all of the other strings, that B, G, D, A, and E, I could then just do that by ear. Even just without the E, I could, I think, pretty much get that note, or at least very close to that note. And then once you've got a note on the guitar, if you can then tune it all in relation to a string, you'll always get it to sound good, because it will sound like a chord. It might be a tone or a semitone too low, or even a tone or a semitone too high, but it's still going to sound fine because you're just playing the guitar as the instrument, the chords are going to sound in key. So I think just training your ear, just listening to music rather than watching it and taking it in visually, just try and train your ear to listen to and work out things on the guitar. I was listening to something and I was working it out on the guitar using my ear, and I think that's what helped me to be able to tune the guitar quickly by ear. But anyway, thank you for that, Mike. And Tortordo Porco has donated $5. Thank you for that. The message is, you've brought joy to so many people and far more than you could have them working at Tesco's. Your personal touch is one of your special gifts. So thank you so much for the kind words and the donation as well. And maybe it's something that I was meant to do, this kind of thing, teaching wise, maybe getting into personal training and coaching happened for a reason to then point me down this. And I think always because of the passion that I had for music and playing the guitar, I was always going to end up maybe here doing something where I could try and maybe, hopefully, help other people to improve at playing the guitar and just coach them along and get them all just on their own journey towards their own artistic discovery and being able to play that guitar their own way and express themselves through it as well. So thank you so much for all of the donations tonight, and I am just going to scroll up in the PayPal window, but we are going to be calling it to a close. It is 1:30 in the morning here, so I do have to call it a day. But Mary has donated £2. Thank you again for that, Mary. And it says GI wants a dog hoodie. So thank you for that. So it's a dog hoodie that we're referring to. I don't have dog hoodies yet. Maybe they will be a thing in the future. I'm sure they are a thing in the world, but maybe there'll be a thing that we could get Wings of Pegasus and the logo stamped on at some point. But thank you for that, Mary. And yes, certainly I am one of those dog lovers. I don't have a dog. I've never had a dog, but if I had my way, I probably would have had one when I was a kid, but my parents didn't want me to have one. We did have rabbits, which didn't take as much looking after. But yeah, I think at some point in the future, maybe I'll have a dog. I don't know when, but I definitely am partial to animals and pets and all that kind of stuff. But thank you, Mary, for that donation. And Mark has donated $5.87 as well. So thank you for that, Mark. And that is the PayPal window donations up to date, and also the Super Chat donations up to date as well. So thank you guys so much for all of those very kind donations. We are going to have to be calling it a day tonight, and thank you for hitting that thumbs up. It looks like we've just hit 300 on tonight's live stream, which is great for a Tuesday night. So thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up. If you're watching this in the future on catch up, you can still do that. Hit that thumbs up and see if we can reach the Pick Roulette likes goal up in that top corner. And a quick shout out to you guys in that live chat room, Dan R, Carl, Carla as well. And I think Ginny's just gone through as well. Corey, Dwayne, John, Deborah, Neil moderating in there as well. Tortordo Porco, Vince, and Mike. Oh, by the way, let's quickly have a look at these pictures that I said we'd look at, because Mary, who donated recently about those dog collars, I think we do have... this is now where I have to go to a different place. Right, the background has appeared. Right, so first of all, just to quickly get these in before we finish, we have Mary, who has had her jab, so she joined that group. Let me try and remember. We've got now Mary, Deborah, Vince, Kevin, I think, were the jab pictures that we've had so far. So thank you guys for uploading those. And also we have Mary showing off her Wings of Pegasus mug, and it says, and there we have it, with that black and white version of it. So thank you for uploading those pictures, Mary. And we did just get there in the end, I just remembered. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. I'm going to be live again tomorrow night for a live analysis. That's going to be 12 midnight Greenwich Mean Time. Probably, hopefully, if everything's okay with the copyrights, we'll have a little look at Greta Van Fleet, get the guitar out, play some riffs. But I'm also going to be live on Saturday night where we are going to be having a pick roulette. So check that out if you get a chance. If you want to join the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook, then you can do. Just type in Wings of Pegasus supporters on Facebook and you'll find that group. Join in with that. That's where a lot of these guys and gals in the live chat room hang out between the live streams. And that it is. That it is. That is it. And that it is. I guess it still makes sense no matter how you put those words around. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. I'll see you tomorrow night if you can join me. Another analysis video is going to be coming your way on Friday night as well. But try and stay safe and healthy. Stay isolated. Keep your distance. Wear your masks if that's what your government is requesting. And just try to stay as safe as possible. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!